change or not to change your oil and your oil filter on your own on your Sea-Doo is the question. I'll be answering that in today's video. Along with that, I'm going to give you 3 things not to do when servicing your own Sea-Doo. Stand by. Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back. This is the Oceanside Guy. My name is Derek, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to keep it super simple to change out your oil and your filter when servicing your Sea-Doo. My 2023 Sea-Doo GTX 230, so let's get started. All right, everyone, so this oil change I'm about to do today is right around that 150-hour mark on the Sea-Doo. All right, guys, so here's the basic tools that you're gonna need to get this project started. Super simple. You wanna start with your oil change kit. I've got 2 different oil change kits to show you here. One is a full complete gallon, and another is the exact oil amount that you're gonna need to put back into your Sea-Doo. Let me show you the difference between the 2. Here's my manual pump that I'm gonna be using today. Number 1, you can go ahead and get the 1 gallon of oil if you want, or you can get the exact amount that you're gonna need to put back into your ski, which you see here. There's 3.5 quarts of the oil. If you decide to go with the full gallon, you're gonna wanna use a measuring bucket to make sure you measure out how much oil is gonna be put back into your Sea-Doo. So no matter which kit that you get, it does come with the oil filter, and it does come with the 2 O-rings that you need to replace. So I will put a link in the description below so that you can just get the exact amount of oil that you're gonna need along with the oil filter and the O-rings, and that'll help you keep it simple. The other tool that you'll need for the oil filter is your ratchet, and you're gonna need an E10 to take that oil filter out. All right, guys, so with that said, let's go ahead and get to step number 1. Here we go. Okay, so before we get into that, remember 3 things that you'll want to avoid. Do not do before you start with your oil change. Number 1, do not go into this guessing on how to make this thing work, right? Always refer to your owner's manual. Check this out. It gives you all the detailed information that you need. That's one thing that I did when I first started. I was super green at this. I am not mechanically inclined at all whatsoever. I went through my manual, and I also did a lot of YouTube video research, and I figured out how to do it and make sure I got it done, and I got it done right. I'm gonna leave a link in the description below so you can see my very first oil change, which was actually my break-in period. Wow, what an experience that was. Anyway, check that out in the link below in the description box. Okay, guys, so before we get that oil change, one of the first things you gotta do is make sure that you hook up your water to your flush port here, which I already have. I have a quick connect in there, and the water is actually already on but not going in, and I'm using my musket here from Salty Captain. But want to make sure we get that engine warmed up, the oil warmed up, ready to be changed. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that we turn on that engine first and then turn on the water. We want to turn that water on just for about a minute and then turn it off so we can get that oil ready to be changed. So let's do that. All right, guys, that's been about a minute. Let's go ahead and turn the water off first. And now let's go ahead and turn off the engine. All right, so now we have the oil all heated up, ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and take off the back deck and get inside the machine. Here we go. All right, guys, we got the back deck off. Number 2 thing that you want to avoid, check out the incline that my Sea-Doo is on right now. You got to make sure that your Sea-Doo is on level ground, and don't forget to chalk your wheels. Okay, the ski is leveled out and the oil is ready to be extracted. All right, guys, so you'll see right here we've got our oil cap, our dipstick, and the oil filter. All right, guys, so that engine bay there, it can look a little scary. If you are that type of person where maybe you're not sure if you really want to try to do your own oil change, your own maintenance, maybe you just don't have that time in your schedule, I've got to tell you, I've got the right person you got to see. And this person is here local, so I'm in Oceanside because I'm the Oceanside guy. Check out Pelican Performance Jet Ski. This guy is amazing. His name is Austin. I've worked with him before. He's done work for me before, and such a good professional watercraft specialist. You got to check him out. I'll leave his information in the description below, and I'll go ahead and flash something on the screen right here so you can check him out. Just in case you don't want to do this on your own and you want a professional watercraft specialist to do this for you. All right, next step, we're going to go ahead and remove the oil cap. Open that up a little bit. That'll just allow things to breathe and start moving. I'm going to remove the dipstick and clean that off. All right, so the next step, let's go ahead and get the oil extractor ready to go. Okay guys, we got the oil pump extractor right here. I've got the tube ready to go. I marked it. You can mark it with tape or a Sharpie. You're going to mark it 18.5 inches from the insert starting of the tube. You're going to go down 18.5 inches, mark it right there, and that's as far as you're going to put in the tube into the dipstick. So let's get that started. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get this inserted. We're going to go ahead and push that all the way down to where our mark is for the 18.5 inches, which is right there. So there we go. All right, so let's get this pump started. And there we go. We're going to do a few pumps. You can see that oil coming through here any second. There it is. We'll just hold it right there. We're going to let that oil come out. So there you go. There's that oil right there filling in. All right, as you can see, that is filling up really quick from the base all the way up to here so far. So we're looking good. So we're gonna let this manual pump do its job. Wait a few moments here, see how much oil we get out on the first pass. So it may take 2 or 3 tries to get all the oil out. And then once this stops pulling oil out on the first try, I'll show you the next step. Okay, you see that starting to really drain out. So we're gonna let it drain as much as possible, give it a few more pumps. All right guys, so that looks like about it as far as getting this manual pump to get out the oil. So the next step is to set up the Sea-Doo in drown mode so we can get more oil out, and I'll show you how to do that. Basically what that is we're going to hold down the start button and the throttle simultaneously and hold that for about 10 seconds. That's what drown mode is, to get some of the oil moving around again so we can grab some more oil out. Okay, so before we set up the Sea-Doo in drown mode, we have to go ahead and take out the tube and put the cap back on. Okay, so let's go ahead and take out the tube. Got that out. Let's put the dipstick back in. And the oil cap back on. All right, so now that we have all that taken out, everything's back together, we're gonna go ahead and set up the Sea-Doo in drown mode. So we may be doing this 1 to 3 times to ensure we have all the old oil out. So when we go back to extract it again, just keep repeating this step right here. Take the tube out, put the dipstick back in, and put the oil cap back on and set it up into drown mode. So let's do that drown mode right now. Okay, so we're just going to hold down the throttle and press the start button for about 10 to 15 seconds. Here we go. Okay, that's good. Let's go try to extract some more oil. So again, let's take out that dipstick. Open up the oil cap. And reinsert the tube to our mark of 18.5 inches. And then we're going to siphon some more oil out. Okay, so this is the second extraction attempt. Let's see what we get out. About 4 or 5 pumps there, and we've got some more oil coming out for sure. Okay, so not too much more oil is coming out here on the second attempt. So I do have to say, I really like the 6.9 quart oil extractor. It's really tall, it fits all the oil in there, and my ski sits very high, so I can actually put it right here on the step, or I can put it right there on the ground and I can still extract all the oil. All right, so that was the second attempt. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up the Sea-Doo in drown mode one more time. Okay, looks like we got more oil coming through. All right, we're still getting a little bit of oil out of here. So as a reminder, I got one more thing not to do when doing your oil change. Stay tuned for that. All right, attempt number 4 at getting the oil out. Here we go. There we go. Got some more oil coming through. But it starts sputtering right away, so that means we're getting very close. Okay guys, so it took me 4 extractions to finally get all of the oil out and feel confident that it is out. So let's go ahead and get this out here and let's get on to the next step. All right guys, I just wanted to show you really quick. I pulled out 3.5 quarts of oil out of my Sea-Doo. So I've got a gallon right here. So if you're gonna refill your Sea-Doo with oil using the gallon, again, you wanna get one of these buckets to measure that 3.5 quarts that you're gonna be putting back in. So I've got another one of these, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take this oil here, pour it into the bucket to make sure it's 3.5 quarts exactly, and then we'll get it into the Sea-Doo. Now, if you're gonna use the oil change kit that comes with the exact amount of oil, like I showed you early in the video, you don't have to worry about getting it specifically measured. You can just put it right into the machine. But always make sure that you check your oil levels before you finish topping off the oil when you're done. All right, now that all the oil's out, we're gonna go ahead and take out the oil filter, and we're gonna be using our socket with our E10 on there. So let's do that. Okay, so here's the next step. We've got our E10. Let's go ahead and take the oil filter out. Once we get that loose enough, should just pull out. There it is. And there we go. Look at that, definitely dirty. Time to change it. All right, looks like we've got a little bit more oil just kind of floating down in there, so let's make sure it's not too hot. And we're just gonna grab some paper towel and just get the rest of that out of there. Okay, so we just want to light this up a little bit. There we go. We've got the old and the new. Let's go ahead and replace that with the new one and put on the new O-rings. All right, so what we got to do, guys, is get this oil filter cap off. So we're just going to give it a twist here. Get your hands dirty. There we go. We'll just take that out. Okay. So if you notice on the top of this here where it says Rotax, that's going to be the top. And same thing right here, Rotax, that's going to be the top. So get that out of the way. So next is to take out these O-rings. Oh, this one came out pretty easy. All right. So remember, the top one here is like an orange color, sometimes it's red, sometimes they're both black, but it's also the skinny of the two, okay? So remember that. The skinny of the two O-rings is gonna go on the top. Let's get this next one out. You can kind of just pinch squeeze, and there we go. So this is the black one, and it's the thicker of the two O-rings, so the thicker one will be going on the bottom. So keep that in mind. So we want to go ahead and wipe this down. Okay. Okay. Next. Okay, so what I did was I just took some fresh oil from that and just put me a little drop in here because we want to go ahead and get these O-rings with some fresh oil here. And we just want to get that around there. Okay. And there we go. And we'll do the same here, getting it around here. Okay. All right, so let's get the O-rings back on. All right, guys, so it's time to put these O-rings back on. We've got a little bit of oil around here and our O-ring. So we have the skinny O-ring, which is gonna go first. And that is going to go all the way up to the top. And sometimes we'll get stuck in that first groove. So we've got to make sure we move it up. There we go. Okay, make sure that's fully seated in there. Okay, that looks good. All right, let's get the second one in there. And this is the fatter one, or the thicker one, goes on the bottom. And it'll fit right in that groove, and just go around it just to make sure it's fully seated, which it is. Yep. And we'll just make sure the top one as well too. Just take one quick look at it, make sure they're fully seated in there. All right, those look good to go. All right, so now we'll get the oil filter plugged in. Here's the top. We'll just put that in there, and we just want to make sure it has a good snug fit all the way around. And it should look nice and straight when you got it on there. Okay. That looks good. So let's get that back in the Sea-Doo. All right, so let's get that oil filter back in there. There we go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hand tighten this down first. Until it starts to get a little bit snug. And we'll finally tighten it down. We're just going to tighten this down to where it is snug and not over tight. Good. Okay, oil filter is back in, and now it's time to refill the oil. All right, guys, so before I dump in the new oil, here is tip number 3. Do not skip any of your oil changes. Take a look. Here's why. Look at how dirty that is. That is 50 hours of oil. So let's put in the new oil. All right, here's the exact amount of oil that I just pulled out, and I'm gonna put back in. Nice and slow. All right, just before I put the last bit of oil in, I'm gonna let the oil settle here for a few minutes, and then we'll get the oil level checked. All right, final check for the oil. Here we go. Let's see what we got. Yeah, we got the oil right where we need it. It's right about in the middle. Kind of hard to see, but that's where you want it. Right in the middle. So when you're testing your oil, you'll see these little bumps right here and here. You want that oil right about in the middle is good when you're checking it. And that's what we got. All right, everyone, and that is it. That's how you do your basic oil change and filter change on your Sea-Doo. All right, guys, so again, if you're thinking that maybe this job is still a little too scary for you, it's your first time, or maybe you just don't want to tackle it, you gotta check out Austin at Pelican Performance. He is a watercraft PWC specialist and a professional to do these types of jobs for you, or any type of job or maintenance that you might need on your PWC. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Go ahead and don't forget to turn on your notifications. For every time I upload a new video, you will be notified. That is it, guys. Thank you for watching, and don't forget the most important thing, make today your best day, because tomorrow just isn't promised. Until next time, I'll see you on the water.